Hello everybody, Angelina here, and I just wanted to welcome you to another episode of Paper Crafting with Angelina. I have been working on graduation cards, and I have to tell you that next to Christmas, graduation cards are my absolute favorite to make. So I want to share just one with you today. You can see the rest of mine over on my blog over at papercraftingwithangelina.blogspot.com. But for today, we're just going to check out one, and so let's head over to my workbench and see what I've been up to. Okay, so for this card, you're going to need the following. This is the Love Life stamp set. I'm going to use the 2 swirls here and the star. We're going to use, this comes with the Cricut cartridge, the Artiste. And we'll be using the You're Amazing, the little cap, and the circle. Of course, a Tombow, a bone folder. So we're going to use some sparkles, and this is the assortment pack, and these are the clear. We're going to need some 3D dimensional tape, liquid glass, and these are from our distressing kit, so I'll be using this. I am using the black exclusive inks along with the gray wool, and I've already pre-colored this seam binding black. We'll be using some of that. This is a card base, and this is going to make an A2 card at 5.5 by 4.25. We're going to use the B&T paper from the For Always paper pack, and we're going to use honey, slate, and black. So I'm going to take all this paper and get everything cut up, and then we'll assemble the card. Okay, so I've got all my pieces cut, and with the B&T paper, what I did with this one is I cut it, both pieces the same. I looked at the pattern, because I didn't want the pattern going this way. If I had, I'd have cut it that way, but I wanted it going this way. So this way is cut at 4 1/8. This way is cut at 5 3/8. So we've got 2 of those, one for the outside, one for the inside of the card. Then I took the black and the slate, and I ran those through the Cricut, and I used the Artiste Cricut cartridge, and on page 69 here, it's a card, but I'm using it as a tag. And so this was, the black was cut at 4.5 and the slate was cut at 4. And basically we're using the card key and then the birthday girl key. And right here, you can see exactly where that is on the plate. So I cut each of those. I cut out 3 stars using the honey. This one was cut at 2 inches, 1 3/4, 1 1/2. Those can be found on page 68, and that's the accent 3 and the star. And then I also cut out the banner. That's on page 35, and this one was cut at 3/4 of an inch. And so now what I'll show you is what I'm going to do next. In order to come up with how I want this tag, I'm going to line this up right here, okay? And then I'm going to cut it here at, let's see, we're going to cut it at 1 inch. Okay, so what we'll be doing with this is I'll be lining it up here together, and this will go on one side of the card. And then with this piece, let me get the white sheet here so you can see. With this piece, what I'm going to be doing is lining up the hole punch. And then you see how I have this band here? This is the tab that's going to get folded under to make the flap. So I'm going to be scoring this at about 1/4 of an inch from here. Okay, so let's do all of our stamping first. And I'm going to use a piece of scratch paper just in case I stamp off of the piece of paper. I don't want to get that on the little foam. Okay, so that's done with the banner. And what I'm going to do with some of these stars is do a little bit of stamping in there, just see what we think about that. Beautiful. Like I said, we'll just leave that one alone. I'm going to load up the stamp with the ink. Just a little bit of pressure, not too much. Voila! So we've got, let's see, yes, all the stamping's done. So now we're going to go ahead and assemble the card. Okay, now for putting the card together, I am going to start with creating the tab. And that was right here. As I mentioned, I scored it at about 1/4 of an inch in. I'm going to do just a little bit of sponging on the edge there. Cover up the white core. There we go. Okay. Oh, I probably should have done that with this because this is so stark white. And there's probably plenty of ink on here for me to go ahead and do that. Just tap it on there. Okay. One of the supplies that I did forget to mention that we would want to be using was our marker, and I'm going to be using the honey, and that's just to color these letters in, and I'm going to do it very, very carefully because they're very narrow. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm just kind of putting it in there. With this zigzag, fortunately, it works good for me because I shake. And so to get a straight line is always hard for me. So that worked out really good. What I am going to do here is I am going to punch a hole in the center of... Oh, no. I'm not going to punch a hole. I changed my mind. I'm actually going to put one of our sparkles on there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trim off the end just a bit. Let's see, where's the correct scissors? Don't need it quite that long. Okay, now we're ready. So again, this is going to be the inside mat. So I'm going to be attaching that to the base card. So I'm going to put my adhesive here to attach it to this part of the card, okay? And if you're a person that likes everything to be very precise, then you might want to measure. I tend to eyeball a lot of what I do. So I'm good with just putting it right there, creating that flap. And again, I'll just to take this and smudge it a little bit so that that white doesn't quite show as much. There we go. Okay, so that's actually going to be the inside of the card. Okay, and now the flap, again, I'm going to line up that hole and I'm going to attach that. Okay, so there's our flap. Now I'm going to go over to the front or the face of the card. I'm going to be mounting those two. Once you've got all the cutting down, this is a really quick card to put together. Again, I'm just eyeballing to make sure these sides are even. There we go. Now, what I am going to do here is I'm going to line these two up because I want this to line well with, here we go, right there. It's going to go on top. So I want to know exactly where I'm going to adhere this. There we go. Oh, okay. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to take the stars and attach them to this, the inside with the on the flap. And we're going to do that with some 3D tape. And this one, I think I want it to even pop up even a bit higher. So I am going to stick a second piece just to make that really pop up. Looks like I got that a little bit long. Okay. Now, I want to be able to put some of the sparkles at the end of these little curly cues, so I want to make sure I'm not covering those up. I'm going to go back to the card face, which is going to, again, be, how's it looking? Look, coming along. This one I'm going to put right here, but I want to line it up so it's just touching the tip there. Okay. Now this I'm going to kind of try to give it some dimension. And first I'm going to start off by curling the banner. Just curling the paper, create some dimension. There you go. Okay, so I want this to stay up. I'm going to put some more 3D tape there. Okay, what do I do with that little piece that I just clipped off? Well, I don't see it, so I will cut another piece. There we go. I'm going to use the liquid glass to help attach just right here. There we go, and there we go. So both of those. Again, I want to line that up. I want to see where that's going to go. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and attach this to the card base. What did I do with the card base? Come out, wherever you are. You're hiding from me. Aha! Found it. Make sure I'm opening it on the right side. I'm going to leave just a little bit of a border around with the white. So I'm checking all sides, just eyeballing it, see if it's all the same. There we go. Okay, now we'll attach the inside. So we're going to put the adhesive there. I'm going to do here is, because this is going to flap over, I am going to get it with just the smallest of a border on that side. Typically I try to eyeball and get the border even all the way around. With this card I'm not going to do that, so you can see there's a thicker border than there is here, but that's because I want that to be able to comfortably go across, and I probably could have scooched it over just a little bit more. So that's the inside. And what I will typically do with a card like this is I'm going to go ahead and print out on some standard paper my greeting. You know, to whoever this card's going to be going to. I'll cut it out and then I'll mount that in here when I'm ready to send it off. But here we are. Okay, now let's go ahead and attach our bling. Where'd you guys go? There you are. And I am going to take one of these larger ones and stick that right here. There we go. Now the ribbon, and again this was pre-colored. Now on our color ready seam binding, I have done a previous video on how to do that. You're always welcome to go back and look at those. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to slide it through this top. I'm going to slide it under my stars, and I am going to tie a little ribbon. There we go. Okay. Mess with that a little bit. There's my little bow. Now, here is a little secret. I'm going to trim this. Trim this. And now what I'm going to do, now that I have the right size, I'm going to take some more of this liquid glass and I'm going to put it just at the edge, at the very edge of this, to help it prevent from fraying. This is going to dry clear. Right, when I have to concentrate, I cannot talk. So that'll dry clear and that'll prevent fraying. So this is my card. I hope you like it. And what you could also do with this card, if you, I think, would be to change up the colors. For the school color, let's say the school color was red. Put these on red. Maybe do something a little different with the stamps if it's a dark red, because they might not show up as well. But if the school colors are blue or red or any other color, get a matching marker to do your banner here and then tie it in there, and there you've got a great graduation card. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and happy paper crafting. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.